What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez. With me tonight, it is a stats man, Chris Gorman. In with the stats, Chris.
Hey, the Detroit Pistons entered the playoffs for the first time since 2019, and then we also have the Phoenix Suns missing it for the first time since 2020, and the Sixers missing it for the first time since 2017.
Whoa.
So what could have been for the Sixers if they just done a few different things?
Streaks
First all around.
broken, and he's donning his green jacket this Monday night. It is the Lombard Joe McCroskey. Get that, Joe.
I was thinking you were to go, he sees red, but his jacket's green.
Oh, man, that would have been better.
Good.
Wow.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Heard the Masters was incredible.
It was fantastic this year. It was one of the best in recent memory.
We'll have to maybe a little chat off air.
Always.
It was good. We have a good show for you tonight because it is that time of year, everyone. We got a bracket. We got a playoff bracket. We got play-in matchups to talk about. We got potential paths for 7-8 matchups. We got matchups galore, juice galore across the bracket. It should be a fun and exciting playoffs here. So let's just get right into it. We're going to start in the Western Conference. Joey, give me something maybe you're most excited about, and then we can maybe get into the play-in stuff going on in the Western Conference. So
I'm most excited about the fact that the Nuggets listened to my thought when me and you did the pod, Titus, and I said that other teams that should be purposely trying to lose or try to manipulate their seeding. I think the Nuggets fell into the perfect spot here against the Clippers. I know the Clippers look good against the Warriors the other night, but that was balls to the wall, right, for both teams. That was do or die. But on everything,
47 minutes.
Yeah,
nuts.
The way it all shook out, though, I was happy for the Nuggets, especially with their turmoil of their coach firing and general manager. So I think of all the potential ways it could have shooken out for them, I think this is probably one of the matchups they got to be favoring out of all the other potential ones, the way that it could have fell.
Chris,
what am I most excited about?
Yeah.
I got Lakers Wolves. First time this has happened since 2003, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
that was a 5-game series where KG got smoked out by Shaq and Kobe. I should have double checked to make sure I got those facts right, but pretty sure that's what happened. I'm pretty sure the Wolves have Minnesota's never been able to avenge the namesake that the Los Angeles team stole from them all those years ago. And now is finally the time, dude. Like, there's so much with this. We got Luka revenge from last year. We got LeBron, who's just been around for a couple decades. And you got Julius Randle revenge. You got Jared Vanderbilt coming out wanting to say, like, hey, you traded me for Gobert and you didn't even give me my own send-off. I had to be grouped together with the other guys. It's like, you're the 10th man. I don't know what you mean, Jared Vanderbilt. It's the most exciting series. Who? Even if I wasn't a Wolves fan living up here in Minnesota, this is the best series in my opinion. Nuggets, Clippers, we'll get to that. It's awesome too. But man, Wolves, Lakers, I gotta watch every minute of that. It's crazy.
You were spot on with that, Chris. Garnett averaged 27 a game in that series in 2003. Second leading scorer. Can I be named the second leading scorer on the Timberwolves in 2003?
Stan Cassell?
No.
Oh man,
not Marbury.
Troy Hudson.
Who?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. Man, we thought
Troy
LeBron
Hudson,
had it bad.
Wally's Zerbiak.
Oh, Zerbiak.
Mark Jackson. Kendall Gill was on this team as well.
Right.
Kobe averaged 31.8. Shaq was 28.7. And Derek Fisher and so on it goes. But
well, revenge is hopefully coming. I think the thing I'm most excited about, that series as a non-Minnesota fan, yes, I was juiced up when I saw that matchup. And I think the thing I'm most excited for is that in the Western Conference, at least, I have two clear I'm rooting for teams in the Nuggets and the Wolves. I will be rooting against LA in every way possible, and I'm excited about it.
It's good. It's fair.
It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, certainly has some good matchups. Let's go into the play-in in the Western Conference. I believe tomorrow night we have Golden State versus Memphis, and then Wednesday is going to be the Kings versus the Mavs in the bowl, I guess, there for a chance to get into the 8th seed. Yeah, that two teams that maybe neither of them want that spot, but I do like Golden State Memphis here. This feels like Golden State, right? Do you guys feel like this is any chance here for the Memphis to kind of squeak by, or should be Golden State versus Rockets? And then how do you guys feel about that particular matchup? Joe, let's start with you again.
I think it's got to be Golden State all the way. Could Memphis, surprise us? Obviously, yes, but I think after that overtime loss to the Clippers, the Warriors are going to be out for blood. We finally had the Jimmy coming out party. The first time he actually had to kind of score for the Warriors since he's been there. So I'm hoping, and this is his time, right? This is the reason they went out and got Jimmy Butler for these kinds of games.
16-game player. Well, it's 18, right?
18, yeah.
Or 17, maybe.
Well, I guess it'll be 17, right? Yeah, it'll be 17. I think the Warriors easily get this one. Maybe not easily, but I think they get it.
Yeah, they should get this.
And then that versus the Rockets, that's fun.
That's fun.
It's like the, do you have the passing of the torch, or do you have the old guard making kind of their final one last stand here to see if they still have it? It's hard because the more that I've thought about the Rockets, the more that I've kind of been like, they do have some veteran presence, right? They got Van Vliet. Ime Udoka is not to be underestimated. But it just comes down to, the talent on paper, and you've got to take the Warriors, right? Steve Kerr, the coaches probably cancel out. Obviously, Steve Kerr's got way more experience here. Van Vliet, you're not really like trusting him maybe to kind of hold them together a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you kind of go through it, like Draymond, Jimmy, Steph, they've all been there. They've been there so many times. And it should be more than enough. Like Steph should be more than enough for them. Rockets defense is good, but we haven't seen a defense that's figured out how to, stop Steph in a series yet. And frankly, the Warriors are better than they've been in the past, year and a half, 2 years. So
yeah,
I think I would favor the Warriors in both of these matchups.
Nice. Chris, your thoughts?
Okay,
man?
So I initially looked at this. I'm like, Warriors. It's got to be the Warriors. The Grizzlies are in a free fall. Why would we ever believe that anything good can happen in Memphis after what it's been happening for them for the last couple of weeks? The only problem is looking at the history for the Warriors. The Warriors are 0-3 in play-in games. This team is not. They lost last year to the Kings, and then in 2021 they lost to the Lakers, and then lost to the Grizzlies in overtime, which was an insane game.
That's right.
So this is kind of a revenge for the Warriors in the play-in, seeing the Grizzlies
playing
revenge 5 years later. With all that being said, it should be the Warriors are 6.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if the Warriors lost this game. They have Jimmy Butler. They're a new look team. Brandon Podziemski's been coming on like a freight train. Moses Moody's been looking great. Quentin Post, second round pick rookies, looking, like a player. And so give me the Warriors, right? And then against the Rockets, the Houston Rockets, they remind me. So when I was watching the national championship game, it was Florida Houston. Yeah. That Houston college team plays a lot like the Houston pro team too. They're like the same. They're just like, they bully you. They'll be everywhere on you. They'll, try to rough you up and everything. And, Houston, but the Houston doesn't have all the skill. They're like 30th in 3-point percentage in the league. And, the Houston college team couldn't hit any threes in that game. If they could, they would have won the whole thing. But
couldn't even get a shot up at the end there.
What you're saying is when push comes to shove, they're going to forget to shoot the ball.
And Houston, so Red Van Fleet's fine. He's the playoff vet. And Dylan Brooks has had some moments, I suppose. But give me the Warriors. Like, you can't go against the Warriors. If I'm wrong, I'd rather be wrong for that than having tried to believe in a Houston Rockets team that I don't really care for outside of Sengun.
Yeah. No, I'm with you guys. I do think this should be the Warriors spot. maybe kind of to Chris's point, this could potentially be the weirdest loss if Golden State was to lose, and maybe that does that upend some of this stuff with Jimmy. But I would like to see them go through. I think it'd be an interesting matchup for sure with the Rockets being the younger team, but I do think they would move on there. Last playing little matchup. I guess we can kind of look at those last three teams. I mean, all those three teams are kind of crap. I mean, Chris, we go back to back here. Do you see any of those teams? One that really wants that 8th seed and could, get a game off OKC? I don't see anybody.
There's clearly a team that wants this.
Okay.
It's the Kings.
It's the Kings. Okay, the Kings. Yeah,
the Kings. They live to for having those little wins. They won the play-in last year. Like I said, they beat the Warriors last year. They're built for the.
They're living for this. Yeah,
right. They're living for these moments.
Right.
So. No, give me the Kings. All Dallas wants to
Dallas.
Go off They want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Please leave us alone. This is so embarrassing.
Stop talking about us.
See with Memphis, right? Memphis.
Yeah.
So no, give me the Kings. It's gotta be the Kings. Yeah.
Kings.
And then them against the Thunder. Could they even get a game? No. There's no chance with DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine's a shell of himself in that team. He has. I think he had a 40-point game. But he's a ghost out there. You don't even know he's out there half the time. It feels like
his soul was left from his body.
Also, going into that game, Domantas Sabonis had beaten Anthony Davis 10 times in a row before this season. The point is, Sabonis has Anthony Davis's number. It feels like more often than not. So
he owns them.
I expect the Kings to win that game.
Okay, yeah, and then you don't really see Memphis giving them too much problem, and then they can go get obliterated by OKC.
Yeah, and then go. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. That sounds like a Bulls Kings season there, Joey.
Right.
Any other thoughts on that, or is that kind of just Chris kind of hit it on the head there?
I mean, the Kings are literally the play-in Kings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Valanciunas hasn't. He's played in every play-in since the play-in became a thing.
Jonas
Valanciunas. Yeah. DeMar and Zach have been in the last 3 now, maybe 4.
Wow.
So I mean, this team is literally built for this. They have the most experience of anybody in the play-in, hands down. Long shot. So they've got this. Yeah. And Dallas just wants to go away, I think.
Yeah.
They just want to go away and forget things. And I mean, to be fair, it wasn't like they tried to stay around. It's just the Suns decided they no longer cared about anything in existence. And just
can I talk about? Did anybody you guys watch that Lakers Mavs game at all? I don't think we've potted since that game.
Yeah, I don't think I watched much of it.
Okay, it was weird. It was just I every Dallas fan wanted the Lakers to win that game.
Yeah,
it was the weirdest thing.
That's weird. I did hear about that.
They've completely turned on their franchise, and I mean for good reason. They've given them no reason to think about why they should be good.
Brutal, man.
But yeah, the Kings, they're not. If they win through, they're not getting a game out of OKC.
Yeah,
no chance. Actually, you know what? This could be kind of like the Bulls against Milwaukee from a few years back, where
they get a game 1 situation.
They sneak one game on the road, and everybody's like, "Whoa, they've got a chance," and then they just go and get
Well, you pay for 300 level suite or seats and watch them lose by 20.
Hey, it was 200, right? And it was great.
It was 200. I thought we were in the 300s. Oh,
wow. No.
We were with the people. Yeah, man. I guess looking forward. You know what? I was thinking if maybe we want to save sort of overall predictions here to the end of the pod, maybe and kind of go through. All right,
rip through them at the end.
But other than that, I think you guys kind of nailed it. That sounds pretty good. Those are the juicy matchups. That was the note I wanted to have for you guys as we kind of move into the play-in in the Eastern Conference here. Do you think we're going to start to see sort of like perennial play-in teams and play-in players? Like we're seeing with
we already are.
We already are, but is this going to become like a separate tier of player? Like he seems like a play-in type player. Like he'll be, yearly in the play-in, and then that'll be your level. Like you get there.
It's like a person who's like one of the most skilled athletes, but it's just a tier below or 2 tiers below. It's like a DeMar DeRozan, a Trae Young type.
Yeah.
The
Those
Zach
are-
Levine tier.
Feels like
yeah,
those-
exactly. Yeah, that's a play-in tier player.
that's a play-in player.
A play-in player. Yeah,
PIP. He's on a pip.
he's a
It's not
pip.
He's a pip.
He's a real pip. Oh man. Speaking of pips, we got maybe some perennial Eastern Conference playing teams in the 7-8 matchup. We got Magic and Atlanta. They're always in the play-in, and then Bulls Heat for the third year in a row. Is that what that is?
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
Insane stuff. Insane work by the Bulls and the Heat.
Bulls have had the same record for almost 3 years in a row.
Three.
Yeah.
It's like the exact same record.
They were 40 and 42 last year.
okay.
I think in the year before they were 39 and 41. 43.
Yeah.
43, yeah.
43.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's wild. Consistency at its finest.
It's
At its peak.
fantastic.
Doesn't even matter the players they have. They're gonna go 500 basically, just under. Yeah. All right. So looking at this one again, it feels a little bit like the Western Conference, where I feel like the Magic should get that 7 slot pretty easily, and then it's up to those last 3 teams to kind of shake out for that 8th seed. Joey, let's start with you here, man. Do you see any difference in that, or do you see that kind of going that way, and then maybe our Bulls pulling it off for an 8th seed?
I think Orlando gets that game against Atlanta. I think that's a team in Orlando that had really strong aspirations and then got derailed by injuries. And when the players came back, when Paulo and Wagner came back, it didn't click right away, but it started to click kind of as it went on. They won't have Suggs. So it's kind of their defensive heart. Still don't have him, but I'm not taking Atlanta in any way, shape, or form. The Bulls Heat game, it scares me. It scares me because last week Bulls Heat played to pretty much decide who was going to get the 9 seed, who was going to get the 10 seed. And both teams were on a second night of a back-to-back. The night before, the Bulls played the Cavs, and they sat literally everybody. And if I don't know, like, that is the ultimate of like showing your cards and being like, we are all in for this game. This is like our Final Four. This is our championship. Like, this is the game for us, right? We have to win this game
because we want home court.
Home court, which is weird because they have a better record on the road this year than they do at home, which is stupid. But
classic.
So they had all their players on rest, and it took them everything to win that game. It took everything. And mostly it took Tyler Hero taking a really, really, really bad 3-pointer on a turnover. Taking an absolute terrible shot. Denzel Valentine level 3-pointer. Them to win that game. Giddey's got a wrist injury going into this game, so he's kind of up in the air. And, you know, the Heat have the 2 best players on the floor. They should. Bam and Hero. I mean, Hero and Kobe White could kind of cancel out, but like, you're taking Tyler Hero as, you know, a better player in any matchup you put him up against the Bulls. So it all comes down to, is Modest going to give you his 17 points, or is he going to give you 8 on really bad shooting? Is Giddey going to shoot like he's been shooting? If he can do that, maybe they get it, but the Bulls don't have an answer for Bam. And that's what scares me. So if he puts his kind of foot forward and you know, puts his will into it, I'm a little scared about it. And I just think too, I mean, that they lost that game against the Bulls when the Bulls obviously were trying everything they could possibly have, and I'm not sure Miami's going to love that. So
and maybe it's a tough, like, it's hard to beat a team twice like that in a short span, because that was just last week, and it was for all the marbles basically, and then.
So my heart says Bulls all the way because I just want to see them keep playing, but my head is saying Miami's going to figure this one out.
And then, all right, well, let's say that happens. Let's say Miami gets this one because it's Miami, and I'm with you there. Do you like the Bulls' chances against, let's say, in Atlanta? You know, if they were,
that's kind of why I want Orlando too, because if the Bulls do win, I like the Bulls against the Hawks. They played them well all season. Their size kind of fits better, and I'm just. Trey had his run against the Knicks a couple years ago. I don't trust him in big games. The Bulls have had good luck against the Hawks in some big games too in the play-in. Over the past couple seasons. they're not necessarily, I think, built with as much pace as the Bulls. Granted, no one's going to be surprised by this anymore because the pace thing has become the biggest like story coming out of Chicago.
Yeah.
But I would like that matchup. I prefer that matchup significantly. I do think if they get there, though, they're definitely favored to find their way into the 8th seed.
All right. Yeah. No, I think this is a good chance for them to get in there and get destroyed by the Cavs, which should be fun too.
Fine.
Yep. Just get
that
in
would
there.
be the worst case scenario though for them. That would be like your absolute worst case scenario. You specifically, Titus, right? Because then they're actually in the playoffs. They have no shot at the lottery.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go get swept or win one game against the Cavs.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is at this point with the Bulls. And
yes, come to the dark side.
I mean, I'm not fully on the dark side, but I'm just like, I'm exasperated. I'm just done. I'm like, okay, guys,
it's the playoffs. I'm here for fun
guess,
now.
Yeah,
Let's just see.
I guess this is what we're doing. We're doing this again. So, Chris, any playing thoughts here?
Yeah. So look at the last 15 games. The Heat are 5th in net rating.
Oh, wow.
But they're only 8-7. The Bulls are 7th in net rating at 11-4. The Magic are 8th. Hawks are 10th. Take that for as you will. I don't know how to look at comparison stats because of how much has changed so much, this season. So the last 15 feels pretty good. The top team, by the way, is the Clippers. Followed right there with the Thunder and then the Celtics. So the and then the Timberwolves are 4th. Anyways, I wanted to lean Bulls, but hearing Joey's take on it, he's very pessimistic on it. It sounds like, and yes, it's very hard to beat a team twice. I didn't know about Giddey's wrist. I just looked up Giddey injury, and then I also saw that in the headline. I just decided to say Lonzo Ball's actually going to miss too. It's like, oh, of course he is. I didn't even ask.
Yeah, he's out.
He's going to miss. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, he's been out. Nobody even noticed he was out.
Of course he has.
Of course he's out.
I love me some Kobe White. Modest has been looking great. I would like to see 2 games because I really think that, to Joey's point, they could beat the Atlanta Hawks. Problem is beating Miami. Miami's still competent, you think, right? So for that reason, give me Miami, give me Orlando, and then
I'm out.
Give me actually I want Trey. I like Trey Young in the play. I feel like when he's in the playoffs, the way he can manage a game, just going back to the Sixers series, which is now 4 years ago at this point. I don't know, it's kind of, but it still feels like he can maybe get them over the hump to get that 8th seed. So give me the Hawks at the 8th seed.
All right, and our Bulls once again miss out.
The Bulls are out. The Bulls are done. You guys, they can whether in the offseason keep Billy. How long has Billy Donovan been employed with this team? I meant to look that up prior to this season, but because Budenholzer got fired today.
Yeah.
And anytime a coach gets fired, it makes me think of how impressive
Billy's in the Hall of Fame, Chris.
He's a Hall of Fame. That's true. He's a Hall of Famer.
2-time champ.
It's just his longevity with his organization, with this level of mediocrity that we've seen over the last, like you just said, 39 wins, 40 wins for the last 3 years.
To be fair, though,
we're pretty good with this.
To be fair, though, he was given a team that could compete 1 year. And to be right, none of us actually believed that team was going to compete. It was more of, did they strike fire for one season?
They were number 1 seed for a while.
It was 2020, 2021. So that was the first season.
Yeah.
It's the best place to be in because you have tempered expectations. If you win, awesome. If you don't, it's okay.
It's okay.
Don't lose too much. It's okay
don't lose too much.
You want your son to coach our G League team? Okay. It's just
it was funny you brought that up because I was thinking about this the other night when I was watching that game against Miami. They had a Hall of Fame announcement, whatever. He just seems like the perfect Bulls coach. Like he's a big enough name where they can sell it as Billy Donovan, Hall of Fame coach. We have a great coach, but he's not one of the most sought after guys where people are trying to pull him away, and they're just it's just a perfect.
And it makes you think hey, remember he coached Joakim Noah? Remember Joakim Noah?
He's on the Bulls. And
Bulls
if they gave him a team, they gave him a good team. Look what he did with OKC, and look what he did with that 1 year with the Bulls. They'd be like, look, it's not Billy's fault, and it's fine.
Then on the flip side, though, do you give him credit for Kobe?
I mean, you could.
Sure. Give him credit for Modest if this pans out. Giddey.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to kind of give him a little credit.
I mean, there are some pieces here that people were giving up on, me included, that he's found a way to make work. And
So
I just don't know
or coaching.
How good is Giddy? Can Giddy get an All-Star bid eventually? Is that like Kobe? Can Kobe be that Tyler Hero?
If he can get a season.
Yeah, I think
if
potentially.
Giddy played a full season like he did after the All-Star break, he was an All-Star this year.
Yeah.
Kobe White or Giddy?
Giddy
was?
Yeah.
So, okay. Dude, he's going to get paid.
I mean, he's on LeBron Jokic levels in terms of like points, rebounds, assists. I know I'm not saying he's that level, but like,
no, he's just like that. Yeah.
There's
it's just like that.
You saw him lock up Luka. He's pretty good, right? Josh Giddey's the future for this team.
He shot the ball a hell lot better than he did in OKC.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
he's doing all right.
He's gonna get buku money.
I think this is again. He's a perfect Bulls player. I think he's a great. This is perfect for him.
We're gonna be watching Josh Giddey for the next 10 years in Chicago.
Get ready for it. Being a play-in an 8th seed type player, so fine with me. I guess that's what we're doing.
You talk about playing MVPs. He's gonna be the play-in.
It all hinges on Modest at this point.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
They're gonna pay Josh. Kobe's are already here. It all hinges on if Modest, because if Modest hits, Giddey's the perfect kind of player to have around him.
Yeah.
He's a big guard. Like, he spreads your floor. He's the perfect kind of player to let someone like that operate.
Could be interesting. Let's talk about what else is interesting in the Eastern Conference. So the matchups we know, we got Pacers Bucks in the 4-5, and then Knicks Pistons in the 3-6. Let's start here with the Knicks Pistons. Potentially maybe the most exciting series so far. I mean, I'm not sure exactly.
They're both good. I like
both good.
Yeah.
Chris, do you think this is maybe Pistons here are kind of maybe in the Rockets slot, but reverse obviously for the seeding there, but as like a fun young team come in, kind of make a little bit of noise in this series, but ultimately it's just getting some reps and letting the big boy Knicks team. The Funyun, yeah, there you go. The Funyun team.
The Funyun team.
Fun dip.
Yeah, I'm looking at this from the Knicks perspective. The Knicks can't lose round one. They just gave up 5 draft picks for Michael Bridges.
They got to win this one.
They got to win this. They're limping in. They're 8-7 the last 15.
Classic Tibbs team.
Classic Tibbs. Jalen Brunson got hurt, and of course, then he comes back and he's still playing on like 38. Man, like Tibbs, dude. Like I think you have to be wired this way to like never ever change your mindset, no matter how detrimental it is, no matter how consistently every year there's burnout. But you're like, no, they're athletes. They don't burn out. They just didn't play well enough.
These 5 guys, and that's it.
Right. And so the Knicks, but then the Pistons, Malik Beasley. Hey, Anthony Edwards just got the 3-point title. I don't know if you guys saw that.
No, I did not see that.
He got the most 3-pointers in the league this year. Beat Malik Beasley by 1. He was actually at 4 or at 5 in the game. He hit 7 in the game, and he asked to go back in, Anthony Edwards, because he realized he was 2 away from Malik Beasley. So Malik Beasley like tweeted at him, being like, "All right, you can have it." But it's like Malik Beasley was throwing it up too. It's not like they both wanted it. It's just Edwards had the later game, so he was able to kind of see like, all right, how many do I need to hit?
Yep.
And he's able to hit them. So that was cool. But anyways, Malik Beasley's been fantastic. He's gonna get paid too. Talking about guys getting paid, and I think if the Pistons get to a game 6 or game 7, I think it's a win on the season for them, right? So it should be the Knicks.
Yeah, I think this is the Knicks, but I don't know if this is a comfortable series. I think it might be 6 or a feisty 5.
Dude, how many ejections for Pistons players? Like over under like 1.5?
1.5. It's a 2. This is a 2 for sure.
2, right?
In New York, in the Mecca. Joey, what are your thoughts on this one, man?
This is my favorite matchup in the whole.
Oh, all right, yes.
Okay.
I think the Knicks are going to lose this series.
Oh, all right. Here we go.
So if the Rockets are the Houston Cougars, the Pistons to me are the Florida Gators, as in like they're not going to be like super sharp in every single game, but they seem to find a way to win.
Yeah.
And the Knicks just seem like a team teetering on the edge of like waiting to let you down. And I just Bridges isn't being used right? We know Tibbs has not figured out how to use him.
Yeah.
They've failed on that all season. He's played every game this season. He hasn't missed a game in his entire NBA career because he played 6 seconds Sunday night.
Yeah.
Pistons are like pure house money at this point. And
so all the pressure's on.
The pressure's all on.
All the pressure is on New York, like all of it. Because, like you said, they gave up all those picks for Bridges. They went and traded for Cat. Like it's all on them. And we've seen. To be fair, we've seen all these players come down and fail at some point.
Yeah.
So, and Detroit,
you're saying like, don't let Detroit get one of those first 2 in New York. Is what you're saying.
Don't let if Detroit gets one of those, it's going to be real bad, real fast. I think.
It starts to get tight in there, and then they're like, "Uh-oh, are the Knicks going to do this again?"
The Pistons have felt no pressure all season long.
Yeah,
right. Like they've just kind of been ho hum along here, and just like they're not going to be upset if they lose a series. So they're going to fire away on all cylinders. I just don't know if New York's going to be ready to handle them. Like
I think you're right about the house money thing, because let's say they had gotten the Pacers or the Bucks. I think people are talking about them as potentially winning that series.
Yeah.
Or with the Knicks, I feel like a lot of people are like, okay, it should be a fun series. Like Chris was saying, if they get 6 games, this is a win as a season. So maybe they are just going to be completely loose of like, all right, well, we're not really supposed to win this thing anyway.
To me, it's like, what have the Knicks done all season that gives you like strong confidence in them?
I mean, they won 51 games.
They did. But all the confidence is based
100
on
minutes.
Yeah, all the confidence is based on the collection of players finally performing when they need it most. And I just don't know if I'm willing to give them that.
I think I had a lot of emotions last season with the Timberwolves, and watching Towns just make the dumbest fouls sometimes, but also like help them. There's so much weirdness
stuff
with Towns, and we're just gonna see that more, I think, especially against the Pistons, dude. Like he's got to go up against Beef Stew and Jalen Duren and all that. Like it's gonna be nuts for him,
right? And Cat struggles when he gets frustrated, and as you call the Beef Stew is not going to have any sort of problem getting under that dude's skin.
Yeah, he's going to get all up in it.
He's going to be all up under that skin. I like the Pistons in this one, and
all right,
it's my hot take, but
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. You've maybe sold me on them. You've maybe sold me on the Heat beating the Bulls in the play-in game. I think it's a fair take, and I still think I do think the Knicks will probably get this series. I think it'll be a little bit uglier than Knicks fans and the Knicks want it to be, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at a 1-1 series going back to Detroit, and suddenly we're talking about, hey, is this for real here?
Did you guys see the Pistons are making it so you can only buy tickets if you have to live in Minnesota or in Michigan in order to buy tickets.
I love this kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
They're not messing around.
Nope. You got to come to our gym. It's going to be rowdy.
What happens when you lose 27 games in a row the year before? You don't fuck around with this kind of stuff.
You don't fuck around with this. I don't know. The next series, what do you guys think about this one? Pacers Bucks. This is the one I'm maybe the least excited about of all the matchups so far. I think it'll probably be the one I'm least locked in on, but I'm sure I'll check in. Chris, what do you think, man?
So is that more because like coming out, it's a 4-5. I think the 4-5 is always kind of the all right. Well, whoever wins still has to play the best team in the next round, and there's no chance they're beating the best team. So whoever wins this has to play Cleveland.
Yeah, but I feel like in the Western Conference, if you're talking about Jokic or potentially Kawhi,
the West is so different. We actually didn't talk about those matches. We gotta go back.
We'll go back into it, but like that's it. Yeah, we didn't talk about the Nuggets clips, but that's an interesting 4-5 where I think on the Eastern side, this does seem a little bit like, all right, guys, good luck, and then have fun with Cleveland after that. But
I just feel like with Pacers Bucks, it's more fun for it's fine.
It's fine, right?
The Bucks are nuts. The Bucks are looking up. They didn't lose. They haven't lost this month. They're 8-0. Dame's been out for a month. It was initially a calf strain, and now it's just he's 33 years old and stuff comes up. Is it thrombosis? Oh, right.
It's a thrombosis. Who knows? But I don't know, man. The Bucks is interesting. I think obviously Giannis is gonna be the best player in the series. what does that mean? But also,
Giannis has been insane.
Yeah, he's been balling.
I haven't watched nearly as much as I normally do of Giannis.
Yeah,
but also like their second best player is now Kevin Porter Jr. Feels like, right? Like
it's weird.
So
Yeah.
it could just be Giannis dragging his team to a victory, is what it feels like too.
But, and that's probably what's going to happen, in my opinion. I think the Bucks are going to win this.
Joey,
yeah, it's going to absolutely have. It's going to absolutely have to happen. Giannis is going to have to drag them all the way through the. Because the Pacers don't. The Bucks don't match up with the Pacers in any way, shape, or form. Like the Bucks to be good need Brook Lopez on the court, and he's going to get played off the court. I feel like real fast against the Pacers.
Yeah.
Unless they can somehow find a way, but like,
well, he's only in when Miles Turner's in, maybe.
Right, but it's weird because Giannis has kind of been like their point guard, which is strange to say. So it's like, if he's running point, you got to have Brook as your big. So like it's kind of
you're getting boards and
Bobby's supposed to come back.
Bobby is back. Yeah, you're right.
Bobby's back, right?
Bobby is back. I'm not trusting the Bucks' playoff chances to Bobby Portis, though.
How dare you?
He's helpful.
He's helpful.
He should not be all of it, but I mean, I'd like to see the Bucks win because I want to see Giannis, keep playing in big games because he's always going to give you something. Like he's entertaining to watch. But this one's not going to be very exciting, or it's going to be just like 7 really close games that somehow aren't exciting. Like it's going to be like 95 to like 98. Like it's going to be like it's going to be fun, but you like in 5 years, you're not going to remember this series. It's like, wow, that was a 7-game series. I don't remember that one. Well, because it was Giannis had 20 assists a game. Oh, okay.
Like they're close games, but they're not good games of basketball. They're just close games of basketball.
Yeah. This might be some 90s basketball.
Yeah. We're talking about that. We done with the 90s. All right, boys. I think it's time, man. Let's go ahead. Let's kind of play this bracket out a little bit. Chris, let's start with you. If you want to start in the West and then kind of work your way east.
So the full thing?
Go through. Let's just go through it, man. Yeah, go all the way to the finals. We'll talk about it, and we can kind of, me and Joy will jump in here as we see fit, and then we'll kind of maybe go around, talk about our differences. But
okay, so
what do you got?
Kings, Mavs, Kings, Warriors, Grizzlies, Warriors, Grizzlies, Kings, Kings.
There you go.
Thunder, Kings, Thunder. Rockets. And I'll talk about it a little bit more as I get into it. But Rockets, Warriors. Give me the Warriors.
All right.
Lakers, Timberwolves. I had a question I wanted to ask you about this series. Lakers, Timberwolves. I don't know who you guys are leaning toward. Maybe you're leaning more towards the Wolves anyways. But if Cat was on this team, would you feel more confident with Minnesota in this series? Or kind of the same?
I would feel more confident.
You would feel
more confident.
Okay. If they wouldn't be in the 6th seed either, which is kind of wild.
I know,
but I mean, like taking that out of it, let's say they had some injuries or something, I would be sort of licking my chops at that one because I'd be going, all right, they have that Luka revenge motivation because it's basically the same guy, even though he's on a different team. And then I think the size, I still think the size is going to be an issue for LA, but not in the same way because of it's Gobert and not.
I just want to see Gobert actually look good. Mm-hmm. If Gobert was ever gonna prove that he's a formidable center in this league, even though he's like a Hall of Famer with 4 DPOIs, it's this series because Jackson Hayes. It's gonna be Rui Hachimura as the center for the Lakers. So Gobert needs to
average 30.
He should be
16,
cleaning the glass up like nobody's business,
getting those O boards,
getting extra. If you tell me Gobert has that type of series, and I get it, they're gonna hunt him on defense, whatever. But I'm like, if he just has just an overwhelming presence in the paint, just stopping shots at the basket, and then kind of just getting every board available, I think that's a plus for Minnesota, but.
I think game 1 will be really telling for that. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, what's still cool about this Minnesota team is they have Naz Reid.
Yeah.
That can just play more minutes and be a little, have a little more lateral quickness and get out on the perimeter better.
How do you think Randall's going to be in this series? Do you think he's important?
Okay. Yes, 100%.
I think he's super important in this series.
He's been great for like 6 weeks now. All right, the Minnesota Timberwolves have been looking good with Randall. Randall's figured it out. He's done what I was hoping he would do at the start of the season, where he's actually playmaking, moving the ball around, and not being ISO Randall. It's so funny because Randall, Knicks fans hate Randall because of how he looks in the playoffs. Everyone hates Rudy Gobert in general, especially for how he looks in the playoffs. Everyone loves Luka in the playoffs. Everyone loves LeBron in the playoffs. So all of that makes it feel like, oh yeah, it's Lakers, but like it's Anthony Edwards. Are we forgetting about Anthony? This guy who's just. This is his coming out party moment. It feels like last year was the Suns, and it's like, oh, the Suns are going to make it to the finals.
Yeah,
and then they got swept, right? And now they're going to trade Durant after this season. They fired their coach for a third year in a row.
Yeah,
Edwards, man, I just feel like the storyline will be Edwards, takes this series and puts himself on the map, taking down who we thought were like the best players in the league, and LeBron and Luka, or some of the best players, right? And Anthony Edwards is now here, and this is the series for him to do it. So
it really could be, and I don't think you're understating that at all, especially with, obviously the LeBron name is there. I don't think he's quite the same player that he was, obviously, and you still have Luka, and all the sort of the nightmares from last year. But I think that's the one guy when I was looking at this series that I was really excited for, because I think with Randall as being maybe like an X factor as far as what can happen, in the paint and stuff like that. But I think if you get it close, I think I actually trust Anthony Edwards a little bit more than I trust some of those guys over there on LA. I mean, obviously Luka's still, but I like it. I'm fine with that. Like I'm like, all right.
Reeves will be interesting too.
Yeah.
Reeves has been nuts. Yeah. But maybe Dante DiVincenzo's been coming on lately too, especially after that fight again with Detroit. So, anyways, gonna be the best series.
Yeah.
Give me the Timberwolves. Nuggets, Clips. The Clippers are like the best team in the league in the last 15 games.
Yeah.
But weirdly, how do you bet against the guy who people are still saying he should be the MVP because he's having one of the craziest statistical seasons of all time? They just fired their coach, so maybe that's why. But Jokic, if anyone's gonna pull Bill Russell, it would be Jokic.
Yeah.
Right, who's just the player coach. And I think I don't know if it was the VP or some higher up. I mean, it was the owner for the Nuggets said, like, if Jokic wants to coach the team, he can coach the team. He's essentially the coach.
Yeah.
So I'm still taking the Nuggets. If I'm wrong, fine. But are we really I think I would rather bet on Jokic figuring it out than betting on Kawhi playing 4 games in a row. So,
in the playoffs.
Not even performance. It's just, does this guy play 4 games in a row?
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
And then should I just keep going, or do we want to?
Or let's let Joey kind of get it going here. Get us up to your second round there of the Western Conference, Joey.
All right.
I didn't have any differences really from you, Chris. So
let's see. So Magic over Hawks.
Wait, West.
Yeah,
it's not bad. I was trying to follow you. You were ripping through them quick. Kings over Mavs. Warriors over Grizzlies. Warriors beat the Rockets. Wolves beat the Lakers. Nuggets beat the Clippers, and the Thunder easily beat the Kings.
I like it.
We have the same thing.
Yeah, we all had the same thing, which makes me think somebody's losing. It's going to end up being freaking Clippers, Lakers, but I think whatever. I'm going to be so pissed.
The one I'm least confident is the Nuggets Clips, I think.
Yeah, that's potential for
that's a coin flip series.
All right, let's push it through then. Joey, your next round there, OKC versus you had Denver.
Yeah. OKC.
Do you think OKC? All right.
I think OKC. I think
I think that's not much doubt there.
It's got to be. This will be the least surprising if it doesn't happen, but like OKC has to break through, and in order to break through, you got to go through sometimes the best, and I feel like this is the undoing of the Nuggets. Like,
and Jokic goes out again in the second round.
We've been teasing it. They've been teasing it for us all season long, but I feel like this is the undoing of that team right here.
Yeah. Okay. And then who you got coming out of that? You had them as the Wolves,
Lakers, and Rockets, Warriors. Wolves come out of it.
Yeah.
Gotta. And the Warriors.
But who you got winning that one? You think?
I'm gonna give the Timberwolves.
All right, making the conference
All
finals
right.
again.
Holy okay.
I mean, that matchup, like, the more I think about that matchup makes sense against the Warriors.
The Wolves got a good draw. I will say, like, as far
They
as
have
where
the
they're
best
at.
possible draw of where they are.
Lakers and then Warriors. Yeah,
Yes.
it's not.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I
Take
mean, I
down
know
the old
they're
guards.
yeah, take down the old guard. Actually, I'm actually okay with that. Chris,
Wolves have a tendency to do that, right? That's
Yeah.
a thing to do.
That's all I got. Yeah, right. They did it with the Suns last year. Let's do it with the Lakers. Take
And
out
then-
LeBron. Take out Curry. Anthony Edwards is on
And
the
then
map. Let's go.
that's the ascension of Anthony Edwards. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, and then everybody's
That's
fine if he loses to OKC. They're like, all right, and then you really it's Shea and Ant as sort of the next tier. Is that kind of what you're thinking, Chris?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I did like Nuggets like a couple weeks ago at this point, I guess. But
yeah,
it's like maybe an upset, but no, it's got to be the Thunder. The Thunder are just so much better than everybody else. And I even have the Thunder. I have the Thunder over the Wolves because
yeah,
I don't want to be,
that much of a homer.
yeah, like
Got
too
your
out of
head-
I don't know.
Watch your head think sometimes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I do. I mean, do get a little nervous for Jokic versus OKC. I think that could be something. I wouldn't be surprised, like Joey said. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened to be a Nuggets victory, but Jokic would have to play just out of his head, and I think that would be super interesting. And I don't know if OKC really got a matchup for him quite.
That's the thing. Like, I guess you put Hartenstein, like what town is the Towns?
Yeah,
and then you got Chet can be like the Gobert roamer,
Floater, the roamer.
Yeah,
and maybe they got enough and everything like that. But I don't really know what the Nuggets are going to do to stop them. On the other side, but I could see that's the one thing where I could see. I could go. All right, I think Jokic is significantly the best player in that series.
The Thunder are weird though. Like, is it Jalen Williams the second best player? I guess that we're like
Jalen Williams.
I haven't heard anything
Chet.
about Jalen Williams like all season. It feels like he's been having a solid year, but
he's got to step up in the playoffs. If he's kind of does what he did last year, I don't think that they win the title. So, all right. So you got the OKC coming out of there. All right, Joey. Let's start with you in the Eastern Conference then this time. Run us through your playing and then get us up to that second round.
Yeah. So Magic beat the Hawks.
Okay.
Hawks versus Bulls. Bulls win that game.
All right. I like it.
Go.
Because Bulls beat the Heat. The Bulls beat the Hawks. It's Cavs, Bulls. Cavs. Easy. Pacers, Bucks. I'm gonna take the Bucks. I'm gonna take them.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Pistons, Knicks. I already said it. Pistons all the way. Celtics, Magic. Boston all the way.
All right. Chris, anything different in your thought there?
I'm kind of annoyed how locked in we are. I wanted to kind of say I'm gonna say the Bulls just because I don't want to. It's so close. I'd rather just pick. It's kind of like the Nuggets Clippers. It's so close. I'd rather just pick the team I want to win.
It's kind of like the Mavs and Kings. It's just like, which team is better suited for this?
Yeah.
Which team cares more? The Bulls, for obvious reasons.
The only difference I have is I'll give me the Knicks.
Yeah, I think it was the same way. Give me the Knicks. Can't quite buy into the upset hype there, even though you did kind of convince me. I think it could be a fun series. I do maybe see Atlanta getting into the 8th seed. I wouldn't be shocked by it.
You would be shocked.
Only because I think the Bulls might struggle with the Heat in the first game. But I think if the Bulls beat the Heat, I think they're for sure getting that 8th seed. I just think that's going to be the one hang up there. And then I think Cleveland goes through. I think the Bucks go through as well. I'll ride with Giannis, and I think the Knicks squeak one out, and then Boston should cruise pretty comfortably, just like the Cavs.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Eastern Conference side, obviously I'd have Cavs over Bucks. I'd have Celtics over Knicks. You guys got anything different, or is this has sort of been the path here for the last 6 months of the NBA season? It feels like that the Cavs and the Celtics were going to play for the Eastern Conference title.
It'd be weird if it didn't happen.
At this point,
if the Bucks sweep the Pacers.
Okay, here we go. I like this.
Like if they go out and Giannis looks amazing and everything is firing and clicking there, and then it comes out Dame's coming back, because there's like rumors like he's like teetering. It sounds like that he might make it back at some point
if they buy him a week.
If they blitz the Pacers real bad, do you have any sort of extreme confidence going into that series against the Cavs?
I still would lean Cavs, but I tell you,
I would too. But
if
it would make me think
them, I would be like, uh-oh.
Right, like if Giannis is firing on all cylinders here, and Brook looks good, and Bobby's pitching in, and like Kuzma's not hurting them, and everything's kind of working.
Yeah,
it's like had they just been kind of laying in wait all season, and like they've got it together at the right time finally.
Because I would do the same thing, sort of to that OKC Nuggets potential series, where I would go, I think Giannis would be the best player in that series, and I wouldn't like to see it, and maybe things start to get tight. Chris?
Yeah, I like that take, Joey. I don't like Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers will get in his own way. I think he just gets in his own way.
Yeah.
Like he calls a timeout at a weird time. He makes a sub. He doesn't put somebody back in the game that he should. I don't know.
I would
say, in your fantasy, if the Bucks are firing all cylinders and the best team ever, sure, they could beat the Cavs. But
realistically,
I've been disrespecting the Cavs all season, and they've won 64 games. So give me the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like I would
take him too.
I don't want to do it again. Okay, I was kind of hoping you would say the Bucks, but yeah, I get it.
It's just kind of like if they swept them, like would you think differently? Maybe a little bit, but
yeah, and Giannis was like 35 a game. Yeah, I mean, I'd be nervous, dude. I'd be like,
I wouldn't want to be a Cavs fan.
I wouldn't want to be a Cavs fan. I would be kind of going, I don't like that. Can't we get the Knicks?
Still weird, dude. Donovan Mitchell's insane come playoff time, right? So
yeah,
it's true.
I think,
but at some point he gives it up. So,
and then going flashing that forward, I think we all kind of have the Cavs playing the Knicks, the Celtics.
Celtics, yeah.
Who do you guys got coming out of the East, man?
Jason Tatum,
your boy.
Yeah,
my boy. I think I got the Celtics as well. Joey, are you really greening it up? Has the Masters got you?
Fine. Yes, that's why I would take Boston. Now it's experience over over a great season. Like it's gonna be one of those great seasons that is gonna, unfortunately, we're not gonna remember because Boston's probably gonna find a way to be like, yeah, this is why we just kind of hung around.
Yeah.
Like you guys went under blitzes, and that's good. Hey, you've got to invite us to the party, but we found out about it and we showed up, and we're here to fuck shit up.
Man, yeah, I think that
classic.
I think it's gonna happen. I think just like we've been waiting for Cavs Celtics all season, I think we've been waiting for OKC Celtics all season as well. I think that's eventually going to be the finals matchup. And I guess let's just do it now, right? Who do you guys got taking down the title, man? You guys don't have anybody different, at least right now. You're not really.
No, without seeing any games.
Without seeing any games and injuries, things like that. Like this should be pretty chalk here.
I'm feeling good. I'm taking OKC. I'm just gonna say.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Before the season started, I put a bet in to have the matchup be Thunder Celtics. I'm feeling really good about that. It was like a plus 400, I think. And then I had the Celtics winning the title, so I'm still taking the Celtics because I'm like skeptical of the Thunder with that second scoring option. I don't know Jalen Williams, I guess, and like we already know the Celtics have a second scoring option because that guy won the Finals MVP and the Conference Finals MVP, so they have a pretty strong second scoring option there. So I think that'll be the difference.
Yeah, I too will take the Celtics. I think by almost every metric, though, she should win this. I feel.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised at all if they just are a buzzsaw team that just dominates and wins the title. But I just feel the Celtics are going to have just that experience from last year, monkey off their back. Tatum's been playing great. I think this
Porzingis is Porzingis good now? I can't keep up with these.
I think he's okay. I think he's ready to go. I mean,
why?
We'll see what happens. I think his health is going to be huge, whether or not they can repeat. But I think Tatum and Jaylen Brown should be enough when it comes down to it. And I think they'll be the first repeat champion in quite some time. So
since the 17-18 Warriors.
Yeah, which would be wild.
One of us has Celtics Thunder in our preseason
nice
matchup picks.
Which
Who's
one of
that?
us?
Which one of us?
That'd be me.
I should have known when he said didn't say
Jesus.
who it was that he
just mowing through,
just mowing through it.
cleaning
Man.
up
Mowing
in
them
that.
down. I've already got
This-
4 right this year. We're rolling here.
This is over, baby. I guess one last thing we could talk about here, and then we can kind of before the things start. Obviously, once things start, we'll change and we'll kind of talk series by series, round by round here. Legacy wise, obviously no LeBron or Steph really yet to potentially have some sort of a magical run. It's still waiting in the wings, but I do think there's some potential here with OKC, and then obviously with the Celtics guys. Does it change things for you guys if the Celtics were to go back to back? Does it change things for you guys as far as how you see like an OKC or an Ant if they were to make a solid run, maybe even Luka, let's say, as far as like who's maybe got the most legacy points available here going into the playoffs?
Jason Tatum.
Okay.
Say Tatum.
He needs to win Finals MVP.
I think he does. Yeah, he does.
I think that's it, right? Like
That's it?
if Anthony Edwards loses, he's 23. He's not supposed to. He's the 60. He's not supposed to win. Luka, same kind of thing. He had a crazy year. Steph and LeBron. Yeah, it's Jason Tatum. Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. I think go ahead, Joey.
I would say it's Tatum, and them winning the title and him not getting Finals MVP would be worse than them losing in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Whoa, I like that.
It would, because think about it though. Think about it. If they lose, it's going to be a team loss, right?
It would be
right.
It would be the
But
Cavs.
If somebody got hurt, maybe, or
because the problem with Tatum has always been, he's second fiddle, right? He doesn't have enough to be the guy. So if they somehow win and Porzingis wins the Finals MVP,
it would have to be somebody else. Yeah,
dude,
man,
he's never gonna
Derek
recover
White.
from that. He'll never recover from that.
Derek White locked up Shea. You got to give it to Derek White.
Yeah, give it to Derek White here. Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, he's already the best player on that team because he didn't win Finals MVP. People already are like, well, that's like put one in the chamber.
So
and they're just waiting to fire it off.
Who's got the most to gain though from this besides Tatum? Like Tatum, I feel like has a lot to. It sounds like he's got more to lose.
He could cement. He can cement his legacy basically.
Yeah.
He can kind of say I'm one of those guys. If he has like an insane run, and then locks up a Finals MVP sort of definitively. I agree with you. I think he's got the most to lose, but / he could solidify his legacy. I think the most to gain. I think you guys were kind of on the track in the Western Conference. I think it's Ant or Luka. If Luka, let's say, takes the Lakers to the finals after this season, I think then people start to look at him a little differently.
Yeah.
Even if he loses to the Celtics or the Cavs or somebody, I think you start to look at him and go, "Whoa!" Okay, maybe the Dallas really fucked up here. Whereas if let's say they were to lose to the Timberwolves, then I don't think it's as big of a deal.
The thing with the Luka thing as well for the series against the Timberwolves, I feel like Nico, the Mavs were willing to trade Luka. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Luka can't just go on another play. He can't just do this again.
He can't just do it again.
This, right?
Exactly. So
it's got the rug's got to pull out. But he's had a great second half of the season. I think he's gotten his revenge. It's time to end it. Let the Wolves get this. But I was gonna say one guy we haven't mentioned is Donovan Mitchell.
Okay.
I feel like he's got so much to gain from this because he's looked terrible in the playoffs for the last 3 or 4 years. And if he doesn't win this, he's kind of like that Dame Lillard type, which is still a top 75 player, even though especially if he doesn't come back for these playoffs. I think Donovan Mitchell's got to be.
Does he if he makes a finals run? Is that kind of enough? And maybe loses a tough competitive series to OKC, and OKC is clearly the better team. Is that enough to kind of cement his legacy?
Yeah, I think so.
Right, like that's enough. Joey, could you see? You agree with Chris here?
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot for us to forget about the high scoring but not winning times in Utah. So
yeah.
What about an honorable mention for most to gain Jamal Murray?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I mean that dude's been forgotten, and that team's gone through some turmoil. If that dude finds a way to make himself known again,
yeah, then
if
people
he
start
can,
going,
if
yeah.
he can lift them with Jokic into something,
Could he maybe get
competitive here.
himself into that Jimmy Butler cemented 16-game player tier?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's
Make
can
a
have that.
16-player
That's a
team.
great spot
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
He can maybe be, if he has a magical run again like he did when they won the title, where people are starting to, hey man, if he's healthy and right, you never know.
Which would be fitting because Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler got that from that season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, when he made
when
that
he-
run.
Yeah.
And I do want to touch one more time on Ant. I think if he has a conference finals run again, I think beating who he would potentially have to beat,
It's true.
I think there could be some like official passing of the torch to Ant as like the next American.
It just
face
feels
of the
like
league.
it, dude. Where like
It just feels like it's coming.
You
Yeah,
beat
Curry,
and then it's Shea Ant. Like that's
Clash.
awesome.
Like it just that's the if the NBA story writers can write it, I think that's what they would want.
Yeah.
Two of their smallest market teams have two of their biggest names in it.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't want that, but they would.
I gotta love it.
Oh man, I guess you're right, man. That would be a tough sell if it's
because the markets.
Yeah.
No, forget the markets.
Well,
Nobody...
all right.
As a commissioner of the NBA, you're like, I wish you guys.
I bet you there's NBA fans out there because they're really young and they don't even know what OKC stands for. They don't care where this team plays. They just like the OKC Thunder.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. I mean, Golden State wasn't a big market until Steph showed up.
Until they were.
Yeah,
until they were.
Maybe all right. Maybe that's a good way to put this too. Would the NBA script writers rather have that sort of run from Ant to then a Shea Ant face off, or would they rather have a second round Steph Curry, LeBron James for the chance to go to the conference finals?
Steph Curry, LeBron James.
I mean, for ticket, like anytime. I remember when I worked in the ticketing market, you always wanted those big markets no matter what, because the ticket prices are like 5 times the amount an OKC game is compared to an LA game. So they would want Lakers Warriors in the conference finals if they were really right. Yeah. Which could happen, but hopefully,
could happen.
And then they would want Knicks, Boston.
Knicks, Boston, yeah.
Knicks, Boston, yeah. All right, well, they messed that up.
But give us OKC, Minnesota, and then Cleveland.
Cleveland. Oh man,
and then you still get Boston. But, yeah.
But I think that's maybe the nightmare scenario for the NBA.
So the only difference we really have is Joey likes the Pistons.
Love the Pistons.
Yeah, he loves the
over
Pistons.
the Knicks. But other than that, I thought maybe one of us would take the Pacers. I thought you guys were going to take the Pacers. But
I mean, there's a lot of teams I wouldn't be surprised, but
I'm happy to hear you guys on the. I don't know. Maybe I've talked too much about the Wolves. I've got you guys on the Wolves. I'm happy to see you guys come around. I feel like there were times when I still don't like the Wolves. They suck.
I think we did that last year, and then they went out and shut us up because we were kind of like,
that's it. Okay.
Yeah, it was just like,
it's like, well, maybe this is what they are.
And I think it's I think for me, I think it is the matchup a little bit. I think I'm maybe a little bit tired of some of the LA stuff, the talk. I just think they get the benefit of the market, the LA market.
The media
and it kind of
all the ESPN, there's 10 guys on ESPN that all picked the Lakers in like 6 or 7, which by the way, I didn't even know ESPN still had 10 guys that talked basketball for them, but they all picked Lakers in 6 or 7. So it makes me think, okay, they don't know. They're just like, it could be Wolves in 5 or anyways.
I do think it's a little bit of a tough matchup for the Wolves. I think they could, I don't know. It could go sideways for them, but I think I'm rooting for them. And I think Ant is going to be geared up for that series in a way that should be exciting. So
should be good.
Anything else on the playoffs, or you guys just want to wrap it up and then
start watching games?
We'll be back next week. We'll probably we'll see what schedule is, probably next Wednesday again. Back at our normal time, and we'll talk play-in wrap up and maybe the matchups going forward, have some early round reaction by that point, I would imagine.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Can't wait.
Well, that is it for us tonight. Follow us on social media at the Box Out Boys. Slide in those DMs. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and Spotify, and comment too. We'd very much appreciate that. So until next time, box out.